All right. So the weekend is here.
Yep. And I think we got a lot of stuff to do over the weekend.
Everybody's got a lot of stuff to do over the weekend. So the question is, Brian, how do you manage your time on the weekend to get everything done and still
Wow.
feel like you had a weekend?
Wow. I mean, so let's just talk about all the things most people do during the weekend, right? You got your housework, you got things with your children, you got a little bit of entertainment if you want, shopping, any event that someone in your life planned, like a wedding or something crazy or a communion or whatever's going on, in your family. And then how do you actually have time to even just relax for yourself and recharge before you get to Monday where you're starting, a possible grind all over again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, how do you make the most out of that time? And I thought of this concept of kind of,
Mhm.
because we're creatives, right?
Mhm.
I thought of this concept like of designing your weekend, right?
Right. Okay.
So you design it in a way that kind of, I don't want to say people pleasing, right? Because you want to make, but you want to make everyone happy, right? If you have
Mhm.
children,
Mhm.
they need to kind of
Mhm.
be content. And, if you've got a partner, you've got to make sure that they're like, okay too, and you're okay.
Right.
And if you've got family obligations, extended
Mhm.
family, like everybody's kind of got to be okay. So how do you design it, right? You orchestrate this
Mhm.
weekend so that you are, so that you're getting stuff done and making everyone happy and making yourself happy, right?
And
Well,
that it's
before
not
you,
so.
go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, and that it's so not overwhelming. Like we're doing this, then this, then this,
Right,
then this, then this. Where you actually feel like I took a breath and got to relax for 5 seconds is
right.
important. That's huge.
But I think there's a balance. So when we think about designing your weekend, there's got to be a balance because there's like this debate about whether or not planning everything to the minute, right?
Mhm.
Or being spontaneous is going to
Mhm.
kind of make you enjoy
Mhm.
your weekend more, right? So
Mhm.
what do you think? I mean, in your opinion, what's your
I'm,
take on that?
I agree. I agree. So, for me, it's always like, here's the stuff, I need to do, meaning like I need to trim this tree or whatever. Like there are things you have to do over the weekend. Then there's the things you want to do. And then, and there's these obligations, like these family obligations. And you sort of go, okay, well, where are those sort of points? Like there's these points, like, and a lot of times, like if you're going to whatever, some event, some family event, there's a time. It's Saturday at 3 o'clock, or, so you sort of go, well, how am I going to do the stuff around it and also feel relaxed? Because sometimes, I mean, let's be honest, some people would be like, that family event is where you relax, but no, I don't know. To me, 90% of the time, that's the stress, right? Trying to get to those. And I mean, so I think you sort of go, well, how do you fill in the time around it so it's enjoyable to you and you're able to relax, do what you need to do? When we hear this all the time, me time or whatever, self-care, but I mean, I'm one of those people too. Like I wake up and that list is there in your head, and I'm like, okay, first thing, I don't need to eat breakfast. I am going to go cut down that tree branch or whatever it is
Right.
that I need to do to get that out of the way so I could work hard at whatever it is, and so I can enjoy the evening, and we could go to dinner or we go see a movie. Now that you go see movies and things like that, like where you could actually just relax and enjoy that time. So for me, I try to get those things that I have to do, like the obligations, like whatever, like taking care of my house or doing something around my house, out of the way super early. Like I won't even eat breakfast,
Right.
I
And
really
that,
won't.
yes. And actually that kind of brings me, so there is this debate, like, do you plan? And I think what you're saying is that
Mhm.
you plan to an extent, right? You,
Right.
you plan to an
Mhm.
extent, but you don't need to pen every hour of your day, right? You just kind of need a general sense, right,
Right.
of when you do things. Then you talked about waking up, and I think that's one of the mistakes I think people make on the weekends, in my opinion, is that they sleep in.
Mhm.
And I don't, but I know people who do.
Mhm.
They're tired from the week, and don't get me wrong, we're tired. People are tired. They need a little sleep. You got to get rest,
Mhm.
right? But I think oversleeping or sleeping in is actually detrimental. And it's not just me. I mean, there is actually some science to back this up, right?
Mhm.
The University of Arizona, well, if you want to call it science, it's a study, right? Research to back this up.
Right.
The
Mhm.
University of Arizona did a study recently that said that you feel worse by sleeping in on the weekend, and
Mhm.
then you kind of need that time that you're sleeping in to maximize.
Right.
And actually, they're not the only ones. The Cell Press did the same thing. That they released a study also that says, does extra sleep on the weekends repay your sleep debt? And they said no. So it doesn't even help you.
Well, I think it only repays your sleep debt if you're staying up to like 3 a.m., right? So, the only time you should really, in my opinion, just in general, the only time you should be, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like sleeping in. I've never been an early riser. I'm a night owl through and through and through, but here's the thing. I'm also utilizing the time at night that I would utilize in the morning. I think it depends on your patterns, right? And what's really sleeping in.
So then reverse that even for you. So forget sleep in, like maybe if you're a person that stays up late, like are you going to bed earlier because it's now you're so exhausted from the weekend? Like don't go to bed earlier. Right. Do your normal pattern is what I think we're saying. And I think within reason, like I don't think, a little bit of time is going to kill you, right? To sleep in a little extra just to hit that snooze button because you can this morning.
I think it's also not even just the sleeping in. I think what happens with a lot of people is this, right? This is what I think a lot of people do. And I've experienced this a lot where people go and they sleep in, and say sleeping in for them is even 9 o'clock, which isn't like really sleeping in. It's not like people who sleep, sleeping to 10, 11, but say you sleep at 9, but then they get up and they sort of meander around and then let's make a nice big, waffle and pancake breakfast and bacon and this and that. And they're sort of having brunch. And then over a sudden now it's 11, 12 o'clock. Now, not that there's anything wrong with that. If you have nothing to do, and I don't mean that in a, or if that's the relaxing part of your weekend, that's great. So there's nothing wrong with that. But what happens is if you have something, what happens is now it's noon before you may even be getting to, I'm going to use that tree trimming thing, to trimming that tree branch down. Whereas if you would have got up, done it, spent the half hour doing it, and now it's whatever, even if you got up at 9, you'd be done by 10, eat a quick breakfast. I mean, because I'm weird. Don't get me wrong. Do I like sometimes sitting down and eating pancakes and enjoying like a really long breakfast and chime with, the kids and stuff like that? Absolutely. But sometimes I just want the energy. So I'm just like, eating a peanut butter sandwich because it's just giving me the energy. Like food is sometimes just energy, right? It's gasoline, it's the gas that's powering the engine. So, I'm just going, what do I need to eat in order to get done what I need to get done? You see runners do this all the time. You see athletes do this all the time. It's just really a form of energy. And I feel like that's how I am. Like, I'll go, okay, I'm not going to have a nice sit down breakfast this morning. I'm going to just eat that peanut butter sandwich and go because I have too much to do. So you balance the time, I think is what it is.
Yes. Now, one of the things I think is super important now when we're talking about, not sleeping in, right? I think that one of the things that I like to do is get up around the same time, right? Which, I mean, we just to recap, get up around the same time and then use the time that you're most efficient to get the things. Like I'm a big, and I know you are too, because we've talked about this, growing up, you like to do your homework first, get it out of the way, right? Yeah. Like I like to get the things that I have to do out of the way so that then I can do the things that I want to do or may enjoy more than the things that I have to do, right? I mean, maybe I don't love the family event, but it's a little bit more enjoyable than, doing the grocery shopping. And so I like to get up, let's get this out of the way, right? Trim that tree, do the grocery shopping, let's get this all done. And one of the other things that I do is try to, if it's possible, do all of that stuff on Saturday morning. And I don't like to just like wait, I'll go tomorrow's Sunday. Let's go Saturday, let's get this all out of the way, right? You do the trees, I'll go here, I mean, there's a rough kind of plan. And then we can start moving on to the next thing, right?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because my dad used to say, like I used to work for my dad sometimes, and he'd be like, I have never seen anyone work so hard so you can mess around for 15 minutes, and not have anything to do, right? And some people are just like that. Some people like, I got to get the stuff out of the way so I could enjoy my time. And then there are other people, right? The procrastinators of this world who are like, I'm going to do everything I can before I have to do the stuff I have to do that I don't enjoy doing. Like you're talking about, you're going shopping on Saturdays. There are people who are like, I got to do it Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Let me run to the store because there's only an hour left. I mean, to me and my personality, that's more stressful than like what you're doing, but we're very similar in nature where we want to get those hard things out of the way so you can relax.
Now, I think it's fair to say, and I think it's important to bring up that, for people with children, I mean,
Yeah,
there are other factors, right? So
absolutely.
you have sports, maybe you've got practices, maybe
Mhm.
you've got this, you've got that. But it's also important to think about the weather. And I'm bringing up the
Mhm.
weather because, last weekend we had a really rainy weekend here. Now, I knew it was going to be nice. If it's going to be nice at a certain time, or it's going to rain at a certain time, um, you might want to save the really boring stuff, like the food shopping, for the time where it's raining. That way you can get the energy out of the children, or do that thing that you want to do before it starts to rain.
Mhm.
If it's an outdoor,
Yeah.
something outdoors or something
Yeah.
like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think another tactic is like that I've used over the years is like the divide and conquer. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? Because
yeah.
sometimes there's so many things, and don't get me wrong, there are families and the whole family go shopping,
Mhm,
But to me, it's like send one person shopping, one person go cut the tree,
mhm,
and do you know what I mean? Everyone else works on this project. If you're
mhm,
dividing the duties and and everyone's sharing in that. And I think dividing and conquering helps with the time
mhm,
too. And I know not every, some parents work on the weekends. I know the
mhm,
dynamics are very different in every family. And, but I think that helps out a lot, even when the kids could help with very simple tasks, even young kids, like, I know you had your son helping put tree branches in, right. But even simple tasks, it helps. And a lot of times they feel good about it. They feel value in it. Like, oh, look,
mhm,
I helped, trim this tree and clean up and make my home a nicer place. So, I think getting, people involved, and, what's the old Chinese saying, many hands make light work, and the
mhm,
more people you have involved and the more people that are actually dividing and conquering and doing certain tasks, it just speeds it up so everyone can have a more relaxing weekend. Because
mhm,
here's the thing, if one of us is stressed out, we're not going to be fun for the kids to go to some event,
mhm.
so if we could all, if everyone's working together, I think it helps out to, to get things done.
Yep. And there are times where, shopping is the event. I bring up
Yeah.
last weekend, it rained and there was nothing to do. Right. So what
Mhm.
did we do? You want to go
Went to
ride
the
bikes at
mall.
Walmart, Michael? I mean, that was the thing. And so I got the shopping done. They rode bikes in the
Mhm.
aisle and got yelled at by the guy because you're not supposed to ride bikes in the aisle at Walmart. But, that was the fun thing to do. And,
Mhm.
and that was kind of the family trip, and it killed two birds with one stone,
Yeah.
so it was something to do. So if you can get creative, and that's why I like this
Mhm.
term design, because you can get creative with, like you said, getting the kids involved, or finding a
Mhm.
way to, do shopping while also having fun in the aisle.
Right. As long as you don't get kicked out and you're not able to go get your
Yeah,
groceries or
we didn't
whatever.
know you weren't allowed to ride bikes in the aisle, so
Yeah,
sorry.
wink, wink, wink.
We didn't
But
know. But, and
that's it.
I think also, when you think about your weekend, you get
Mhm.
58 hours. I mean, realistically, let's say you get out of work
Mhm.
at 5 o'clock, you got 58 hours until midnight, on Sunday into
Right.
Monday, midnight. So you've got a lot of things that you need to do. And I think
Mhm.
if you can find a way, like you said, divide and conquer, get the hard stuff out of the way, don't sleep get a little extra rest if
Mhm.
you need it, but keep your schedule going as
Mhm.
much as you can. And also, what are you doing with that Friday night?
Mhm.
For me, I think we often forget about the Friday night. And
Yeah.
if you don't have children, then it's a little bit different. But with kids, you forget about that Friday night because you
Mhm.
just got out of school, you just got out of work, you're tired. But one thing that I started doing, and I did it for about 2 years, was I was going and doing my food shopping on Friday nights,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
especially in the summertime. And I know summer is upon us, and so
Mhm.
I think we should talk a little bit
Mhm.
about scheduling in winter versus
Yeah.
summer, because summer's here and it's a little bit different, because in the winter there's not, if you're at least in a place where climate changes like that, if
Mhm.
you're, it's like what do you don't want to spend your nice weather days or your beach days or your pool days or
Yeah.
your hiking days or your barbecue days, doing all those tasks. So Friday
Mhm.
night became really important for me, because
Mhm.
I would go out by myself, run out, or even
Mhm.
take my son with me if
Yeah.
if I had to, run out, do my food shopping quick, and then I'd be done. We'd eat dinner
Mhm.
on Friday night. Then now Saturday comes,
Mhm.
you don't have to worry about the food shopping and getting the lunches and
Right.
all the stuff ready for the week. Everything's done Friday night.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree because I used to take the twins when they were young food shopping, and two of them in a cart. Do you know what I mean? And try to
Mhm.
get food shopping done. So I would just bang out the food shopping
Yeah.
with the girls real quick. But and that's a really good point. Like making sure, like you try to do those things with your kids. And one of the ways I've gotten around it is like, say for instance, you're going to go out to dinner anyway on Friday night, like you're not going to cook because you've had a long week, go, okay, let's go food shopping, bring it home, and then we're going to go straight out to eat. So basically you get them to come along for food shopping, knowing after we go food shopping, or you got to go to the store, pick up your dry cleaner, whatever you got to do, bring them along with you. So that way you get those tasks done, and then go and do that enjoyable thing with them, go to that movie or whatever the case is. So that way you're not having to go, okay, how do I get them to come along to the store or whatever, and then we can just go straight there versus going to the store, jumping back home, going back out. Do you know what I mean? And make things sort of continuous while it's in motion.
Exactly.
Which actually is just efficient use of your time. If you're out and the movie theater is right next door to the store you're going to, better to do that and plan it than, with timing, than go back home and wait 3 hours and then go, okay, because what are you going to accomplish in those 3 hours? Sometimes those little wait times are too short, but they add up over the weekend.
Yep. No, I will say, so the weekend is here and there are a million things that I need to do, right? The backyard is covered in tree branches, and those need to go, and there's trees that need to be cut down, and a barbecue that needs to be put together, and a whole bunch of stuff. But what we're doing this weekend? We're not doing any of that. So we are, we're going to Pennsylvania for the day tomorrow, and we're going to have a nice day out. And on Sunday, we're going to go to the beach because it's going to be 90. So, how do I use that time? So today is Friday. It is, afternoon, almost end of day. I'm going to go food shopping tonight, like we talked about, get that out of the way. And then probably Sunday afternoon, after the beach, that's when, some tree branches will get cut in the yard, and, we'll hang out, putting the barbecue together and that kind of thing. So, I think the final point I wanted to make was kind of not putting a time to things, a specific time, because, if I know that, we're going to the beach, and then let's say I had something else fun to do after that with my son. I feel like if you put these times, these specific times, like I'm going to do this at 3:00, then we're going to do this at 5:00. It kind of takes away from the first fun thing, because now you're thinking, okay, I got to make sure I'm finish this up so we can do the next thing. And I'd rather kind of approach it like, okay, like I said, beach during the day, afternoon into evening, we're going to do these things. And so you kind of just put it aside, it's going to get done, but you're not punching any sort of clock. So a loose schedule.
Yeah, and I think the only time you really need to worry, like what we talked about, if there's like an event, like a wedding or, a baptism or whatever you got going on in your life, like where you have to be somewhere at a particular time, other than that, you should be flexible in the way things, and, and don't procrastinate, because it's just going to make more stress, at the end of the day for you or your loved ones, So.
What's your schedule like this weekend?
Actually, I have no plans. I have the same plan as you. I have nothing. I have some work to do around the yard, but it's nothing major. I have some, I live in a really old house, and I have all these hydrangea bushes, and they're 100 and something years old, and there's some that are missing just over time. So I bought new ones that need to get planted, and I just realized I need to go purchase another one. And I plan on going to the beach on Sunday, and I may go to a jiu-jitsu tournament tomorrow, but I'm not 100% sure, just to go watch. But I don't have any. Oh, I think we have a barbecue. I think we do have a barbecue to go to. So there's probably like 2 hours in there. I don't know. I got to wait till Dawn gets home to tell me what barbecue I'm going to.
Let me ask you then, are you going to wake up and do your bushes first tomorrow?
I may actually even do them after work today, because I just have to dig a couple of holes and plant. So it only takes, 15, 20 minutes. I mean, I do have to run to the nursery to buy one more, but, I may plant the one that I got already and then just buy that one during the weekend. But that, unfortunately, their root ball is only like yay big. So it's, it's 10 minutes of digging, if that much, So but no real hard plans besides that one barbecue, and I'm not even sure when it is. And it's a barbecue, and it will take 2 hours or something, and be fun. So no real plans. Nice and
easy. Nice and easy this weekend.
Nice and easy. Yeah.
All right. Well, those are just to recap, I guess we'll run through it one more time. So we talked about, planning versus spontaneity, which, just side note, being spontaneous is fun too. If you're afforded that opportunity, like this weekend, you're afforded that opportunity. If you want to go and say, hey, let's, pick up and go to Costa Rica, you could do that for the day. I mean, that's a little far, but you could do that. Right. And that's fun. Absolutely. When you can do it, it is fun. I that's kind of one of the things I miss about, pre-momming is being able to just pick up and go, hey, we're gonna go, we're just gonna go away, and but we would do our things. Just in my defense, talking pre-kids,
make sure they get done.
We would do our things in the morning on Saturday morning. So if we wanted to go to the gym, if we needed to do the house cleaning and the food, everything would get done Saturday morning. So even before I had my son, I was really still practicing that, so get it out of the way. And then we could do whatever we want. You want to be spontaneous, go for it. But plan your spontaneity appropriately.
I think what we're saying here is get the things that need to get done, right? Just get them done. And then it affords you the freedom to do what you want with the rest of that 58 hours after you're done with whatever, requirements it is. And if you do have set requirements, meaning like, your child has a soccer game or you have a barbecue, you do that and everything else around it.
Yep. So to recap, don't sleep in, get your shit done early and quickly get it done efficiently. Don't meander. I like that one. Don't just loiter around the kitchen.
Right. And then go to the beach. Go to
the beach, right? Go to the beach.
Nice this weekend where we are.
All right. Well, have a good weekend, everyone.